diagnosis treatment, and that's something I was involved in for a couple of years. I have been in the healthcare industry for over 25 years, and I've served in different capacities throughout that time. Currently, for this office, I feel that I'm a very strong candidate. I currently am a member of the National Association of Parliamentarians, and I serve as chapter parliamentarian for the Detroit chapter. In my daily job functions, I also do a lot of the things that are involved with parliamentary rules. For once per month, I handle a committee that has to go by the guidelines of all the proper rules for parliamentarians. I want to bring all this strength that I have and impart this to NAHSE, and I will not be a silent member. I will be a very active member, and I'm ready, willing, and able to serve, and I'm here ready to go forward. Thank you.
And our last candidate to come before you this morning is Rodney E. Miller, Sr. Rodney is the Administrator of Cardiovascular Services at Memorial Health University Medical Center in Savannah, Georgia. He has worked in different positions at Memorial Health since 1998. Rodney joined NAHSE in 1996, and he is a member of the National Education Conference Committee. Rodney worked with the Everett E. Fox Student Case Competition and has served as a moderator on our National Education Program. Please welcome Mr. Miller.
Good morning. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces in the audience. I'm interested in serving as a NAHSE parliamentarian because I have a sincere interest in playing a pivotal role in furthering the mission and vision of our organization. As a black healthcare professional, I have a moral obligation to give back to the organization that has paved the way.
And help me bless God today. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord.
The mayor to come. He was unable to come this morning, but he did send one of his ambassadors to come meet and greet us. I have the pleasure of introducing to you at this time Ms. Stephanie Bickham, who is the Deputy Director of the City Health Department. Ms. Bickham.
Good morning.
I am privileged this morning to bring you greetings from our mayor, Mayor Mark Morial, who could not be here today. But we just want to let you know that he's not our mayor this year, but he's all of your mayor as well, because he's also the national president of the U.S. Conferences of Mayors. So for this 1 year, we won't be selfish. We're going to share him with you. We're going to welcome you to New Orleans. I hope that all of you enjoy your stay, but most of all, I applaud your mission that you're on. Being in the healthcare profession, I know the struggles that you're going through. And so you, who are globally known as the premier professional membership of Society for the Blacks in Healthcare Management, I say I take my hat off to you. I can relate to the struggles that you have, and I know that you're faced with many challenges, and the challenges that you face are often conquered by the work that you do. And the work that you do lets you know that your living is not in vain. And I'd like to say to you to keep up the work that you've been doing. Enjoy your stay here in New Orleans. As Mr. Carver said, our city is open 24/7. Don't let that take you by a storm. But do enjoy your stay here. And don't forget to spend your money while you're here. Because our economy is suffering, as it is everywhere else. And we say, welcome to New Orleans.
I got up here after 10 plus years of work and told you in 20 seconds what our primary mission was in our professional life. Your mission should also be sustaining. It should be the thing that anchors you when your career gets rocky, when you hit some difficult patches. It should be your nourishment, something to hold on to. Your mission should be imaginative. It should be your stretch goal, not something you can wake up and roll out of the bed and do tomorrow, but something that you shoot to become. Your dream should be included in your mission. Your mission should be original. It should be something that is specifically for you. It's not enough to want to be the next Ruby Wesley. You want to be the first you, which would add to the accomplishments that Ruby Wesley has already done. And finally, your mission should be navigational. A Lifetime Achievement Award. Close your eyes, my brother, close your eyes. You're receiving this award from your professional organization, your church.
I think I knew you guys win.
Look, you guys have
You're one of our
Hey.
mentors, Anthony, with your young self.
All right. Good job.
This one, yeah.
Who we looking at?
Go to him first. Okay, now come this way. 1, 2, 3. Action.
I did it. I got it.
Without getting your key
but we still have work to do. It was a direct result of the NAHSE study of '92 that a wake-up call was sounded. It brought together a major effort to deal with the issue of racial disparity, which included the leadership of the healthcare field and representation from all the affected parties. The Institute for Diversity in Health Management was launched. Its founding member organizations were NAHSE, AHA, and ACHE. Major funding support came initially from AHA. While Johnson was installed as the first president and CEO, the organization's mission was built on the early efforts of NAHSE, and today's institute is making its mark as the vehicle to bring about voluntary change in the healthcare field to deal with the issue of diversity. Since its inception in 1994, more than 600 students have benefited from the summer enrichment program. More than $110,000 has been awarded as scholarships to promising undergraduates and graduate students. This would not have been possible without the participation of many hospitals. Yes, we can point to minorities who have made the leap to palm positions in senior management positions, such as Kevin Lofton, Executive VP, and COO of CHI. This group has 68 hospitals with over 70,000 employees in 22 states, has a net revenue of over $5 billion. Lloyd Dean, President and CEO of Catholic Health West, was managing 48 acute care hospitals in California, Arizona, and Nevada. Rob Roberts, VP for Bond Security. Bob Johnson, former Chief Operating Officer for the Detroit Medical Center. Raymond Grady, President and CEO of Evanston Health System in Chicago. John Luford, President and CEO of Truman Medical Center. Bill Jenkins, President of Raw in Milwaukee. Tom Chapman, President and CEO of HSC Foundation in D.C. Lucy Allen, President and CEO of Bond Secure Health System in Bolton. Percy was my child prodigy, and I'm very proud of him. He started working with me before he had his own education. Give it to him. And I'm proud of him. As we look at bridging the gap, we must note that the field of healthcare is broader than the hospitals and health systems. Moreover, it is in a constant state of change, which is creating new and exciting opportunities. Opportunities exist in many areas.
All right, Elliot. Get everybody. Dr. Webb, good to have you with us.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, all right. Dr. Webb, hello, yeah. Dr. Webb is head of the New Orleans Public Health Department. Now, Elliot Robert, I'm getting the back of your head here. Mr. Joe Rochester in the middle of the screen. This is Mr. Al Black right there. Ruby Wesley, Anthony Thornton.
2 weeks. Make sure you tell Elliot to sit up.
There's a group of folks there.
We're in the same organization. Oh, okay.
It's Joe Rochester. Do you like that one? The president is commenting about her pictures on the website. Yeah, something Mr. Percy, come on, Percy. Yeah, that's a new one.
I hope it's better than the first one.
Well, I'm taping this one for this guy.
All right.
Hey, get me in the picture with Elliot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's running.
Go ahead.
You guys turn around here now. I'm trying to get back in.
Go ahead.
Elliot Roberts, I'm trying to looking at the back of his head on the closet. I just want to say something for the camera. He's glad to be here.
That's right. Andre, it's been a long time, but you haven't changed a bit. Still handsome as ever.
Yeah, he's still crazy. He's still crazy.
Hey, nothing wrong with his eyesight. I got it. And this is Mr. Percy Allen talking to his mentor. That's right, you know the song?
Oh, that's fancy stuff.
Yes, sir. And they ain't stopped eating yet, huh? Okay, all right.
He told me all I knew.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
They made me roll early.
Sandra, get on there with it.
Thank y'all.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you don't have to stand around. You can just talk. This is a video. This is a video, so you have to talk. Okay. Yeah, that's a Riddell Never. You get making some extemporaneous comments here. Yeah, we got you. This is DC Dillon.
This is my method. Hey, this is the lady's baby hero.
Okay. Oh yeah, we got her. Okay, we good.
Why it's so dark?
Well, you got probably the cost probably.
Should I do Zoom? It's dark. Huh? It's looking too dark.
I'm responsible for this award.
All right.
I made him what he is. I told him golf. I told him racquetball. He taught him fun now. I found the point for him. I don't know what else I can do. What else can I do? He taught a little bit too far.
You gotta help me out. You know this is. You know what I'm saying? Let's tell the truth here.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see in a minute. All right, there it is. It's working now. You broke my camera, Mr. Purse, but you got it fixed now. We had this is Friday morning of the conference, and we're having an impromptu conversation with Mr. Percy Allen, one of the icons of NAHSE, who is imparting his usual country boy wisdom. And that's Anthony Thornton, Ruby Wesley, and Donna Maxwell. There you go, and that's Richard Brown. Everybody. Everybody knows.
Around 100 years too.
Now, see, I can tell you a story about Richard Brown, too. A long time ago, Richard Brown wanted to know he was... There's Vince Sessions over in the far corner. That's Miss Lynn Scroggins walking by. There she is, Lynn Scroggins.
I can't wait to sell those calendars.
Okay, there we go. And there's Mr. Rick Stevens, Young Executive of the Year from NAHSE. You got any words of wisdom for us this morning?
What'd you say?
You got any words of wisdom for us this morning? That's Kevin Lofton, still working.
Just yet. I'm still recovering from my showtime at the Apollo last night.
I know that's right. Yeah. There's Jim Wall. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh.
No, it's all right. It's video. It's a video.
Oh.
Okay. All right, we expect to have a good time in Miami.
Absolutely.
Okay, you on record?
You will have plenty of fun.
All right, you on record? You on record? Satchel? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the morning session. Interrupted that shot. It's Mr. Willie Gary, our speaker this morning for the conference, arriving.
Thank you. What we would do is move on with our agenda, and we have been serenaded, I should say, by Alan Eric Cotton, and at this point we would like him to sing one solo.
He of his wealth for the less fortunate, and he provides educational opportunities for young people. In 1991, he gave $10 million to Shoah University. He said Shoah University took him in when no other college would have him. He has donated $100,000 to the Holyfield Foundation, Harvard Memorial College, Bethune-Cookman College, Edward Waters College, and the University of Virginia at Lynchburg. In November 1995, 28 years after this migrant farm worker stepped
Pat, that after orchestrating such a great introduction, rest assured that your check will be in the mail next week. Let's give her a big hand. She said she will accept it. She said she wants a check, not Burger King. Let me express my thanks to this great organization for inviting me to come and be a part of this conference and to speak to this fine group of healthcare professionals and executives. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here because you all are about the business of making a difference in the lives of many people, from not only just a healthcare perspective, but in your various communities. I know many faces. I've met many attendees that are here this morning, and I know that you're out there every day making a difference in the lives of people, and specifically young people. I want to also say that I'm elated to be here for a number of reasons. Number one, I see so many good friends and colleagues that I've met along the way. I have my good friend and colleague, Frank Seals. Stand up, Frank. Let's give him a big hand this morning. And then I want to thank Pat for those kind remarks that she made before the tape. As a matter of fact, she started saying some good things about me, and it started to get good to me. Not only did I begin to believe half of it, but just as she was about to stop, I wanted to tell her to just keep on talking. You know, but it is good to have done something while you are living that will cause your peers to say something good about you then, and not after you are stretched before some altar. In many instances, we only find good things to say about our peers after they're laid out. But I'm glad that God has blessed me to do some things that somebody feels it's worthwhile making note of. And like I said, I'm just elated to be here. As a matter of fact, the reception was great. Y'all know how to swell a man's head. Had a big limousine waiting on me at the airport and all that kind of stuff. And then Frank was there, and it was going real good. Until I got here and I met Ozzy and I met Miss Brown, NAHSE Brown. Now they are two tough ladies. As a matter of fact, where are they? Are they here? They are real tough ladies, man. I was running 5 minutes late and the sisters weren't having it, you understand? You know what, I had Frank with me, Frank stand up, he was in charge of media relations. Give him a big hand. I had Frank with me, and Frank said, well, Mr. Gary, do you need to go to the bathroom before we get started? And I said, well, yeah, Frank, that would be nice. And he looked at Ozzy and he said, well, is it all right if we go to the bathroom? And they said, no. I'm standing there. But let's give them a big hand. Keep on making a difference in the lives of just not people, but people and young people, specifically young people. You all know my story, and you know my commitment to education and to young people. So no matter where I am or where I'm speaking, the plight of our young people will always creep into comments that I have to say. I want to bring you greetings on behalf of the NBC Cable Network. I'm chairman and CEO of that network, and I have partners Evander Holyfield and Cecil Fielder, Marlon Jackson of the Jackson 5. We are based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and we have a 24-hour television network that is about family value-oriented television. I want to talk to some of you all today because we want to stop some of the pitfalls of not getting certain tests and not making regular doctor's appointments and things of that nature. But with that network, we are committed to family value-oriented programming. We just feel that our young people are seeing too much sex, too much crime, and too much violence, and that's why we have the Columbine situations and all of that. So we are committed to family value-oriented television. And if you do not have our network in your cities, we want you to call your cable people. I figured since I was coming down here and speaking, I'd get my plug in, you understand? But look out for the NBC Cable Network. And I want to thank your president, President-elect, everybody for your kind invitation to have me here today. Now, let me just say this. I I know that we're all about the business of making America better for all of us. But as a people, and specifically African American people, we have to be about the business, in addition to making America better, but making life better in general for our people. And to do that, we're going to have to start learning to turn to each other, whether it's in the healthcare field or advancing minorities in law and administration and business or whatever it is. I am convinced that we are really going to have to step up to the plate and understand that when we turn to each other, we can do so much more when we stick together. And we are learning to do that, but for many years, that was not the case. And I say that because when I speak of health care, I think of doctors, and of course I have to think about lawyers because, you know, we are two groups specifically from an African American perspective. Our qualifications are questioned more than any other profession in the country. Our people don't really support us, black doctors, black dentists, healthcare providers, like they should, our own people. So there's an education process there that's taking place, and I think we are making a lot of inroads there. But we have to work every day to get our people to realize that, number one, if you're talking about qualified, black folk are more than qualified. Yeah. We've always been qualified. I don't care whether it's in medicine or any other field, we've always been more than qualified. And I see us changing as I move through America, and that's a good sign. And I hope a lot of it has to do with what this organization is doing and bringing healthcare providers together. I want to, before I move into my talk with you this morning, I want to acknowledge a lady that's not here, but I want to do it anyway because I met her in 2nd grade. That's right, Frank, I started chasing my wife Gloria in the 2nd grade. And Dr. Carson, she used to hate the sound of my name. Every time she heard the name Willie Gary, she would just cry. But I thank God, and I knew she was digging on me, you understand? But Pat, every time she heard my name, she'd cry. But I thank God he saw fit to keep us together, and I understand better than anybody that she believed in me when nobody else did. And she stood by me when nobody else would. So I get all the awards and all the speaking engagements and all the accolades, but I know that whatever I am or ever hope to be is because I've had a good woman.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Is that all right, ladies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get a witness?
Yes.
Amen. And let us give this legendary American, African American doctor, role model. He means so much to so many. And I'm just proud, and I just told him just a few minutes ago, I just wanted to touch the hem of his garment. That's Dr. Ben Bitbox. Stand up, let's give him a big hand. And then before I go any further, I want to do like I always do because, and I hope it's all right, I hope I have permission to give him a little praise. I've had the good fortune to speak all over this nation, even at the White House, but no matter where I am, I don't think we should ever get so big that we can't stop to say thank you, Jesus.
Amen, amen.
Is that all right? Now, I know I have a whole lot of people here with a lot of names with big titles behind them, and I have to be careful. But I just have to do it, and then if y'all, I'm guilty if that's a crime, because I know that it was he that brought me of the rough side of the mountain. And I have to give him the praise no matter where I am.
Amen. Amen.
Frank, I realized better than anybody that I didn't win those billion-dollar cases on my own. And I'll tell you this, that no matter how great you are in the healthcare business or whatever business you're in, and I don't care how smart you are, just keep on living. One of these days, you're going to need a power that's greater than you are. You're going to need somebody that's greater than you are. I tell lawyers every day, they say, well, Gary, how is it that you win all of those billion-dollar cases and $500 million cases? I said, you just don't understand. You see, I know a lawyer that has never lost.
All right.
And you know, I can share this with you because I know how real it is in whatever business you're in or whatever you're doing with your family, with your children, with your business. No matter what it is, you keep him in your plans. I was trying to case who he was dealing with. You see, brothers, and that's all right because we're on a mission. We have a job to do. A gift has to be delivered. And when I look back after the trial, I think about the DoubleTree, and I said, if NAHSE had only known who they were dealing with. $139 million later, the jury gave us, give God a hand this morning. Now let me speak to you briefly about some things that are very near and dear to me, and that's number one. And don't get me wrong, healthcare is about as important as any issue we can have in this country. But I just feel so comfortable with the fact that we're in good hands as far as minorities and African Americans are concerned, because I know that you all are about the business of trying to make it better every day and trying to make a difference in that arena. But an area that I like to talk about, and I guess in a real sense, it falls over into healthcare too, that's our young people. You know, when you think about the drugs and all that they're getting into and the crime and all of this, and how we are losing them in record numbers, I think it's always important that we focus on reclaiming our young people. Now, we have a lot of young boys and girls that are really out there making a difference. They are working hard, and they are going on to college, and they're getting an education, and that's great. And we need that. We got to keep on inspiring them to do it. But what disturbs me is, as I move around this nation, dealing with professionals, I see that a lot of us have a tendency, when it comes to our young people, putting the time in, not giving up on them, reclaiming them. When it comes to our young people, you know, a lot of us talk a good game, but we're not out there. We are not out there. We are waiting for the school systems to come to us rather than going to the school system, going to the parks and the playgrounds and sitting some young boy or girl down, telling them about what it takes to make it. And I don't care what your title is. I don't care how much money you're making. None of us have the right not to go to the parks and the playgrounds. It's not enough just to say to our young folks, say no to drugs. Use your life as an example to them that they can be whatever they want to be. We have an obligation to do that as leaders of the African American community. There's a lot of power in this room, a lot of influence in this room. And we're gonna have to corral that and use it to help reclaim our young people. And I say that because I was speaking to a group of lawyers just the other day. I said, you know, we have to be about more than just making money. Delivering a good service. That's fine. We need to do that. But we have young boys and girls out there that need role models. And you don't have the right to sit in your ivory tower office with your own agenda and hang out your do not disturb sign. None of us have the right to do that. They say, well, Gary, well, you're a lawyer, you making money, you're doing all of this. Why is it that you give so much of your time focusing on young people? I don't have the right not to. And none of us have the right not to. We're all in this together. Our children are one of this nation's most valuable resources. And specifically young black boys and girls. They need us now more than ever before. So don't you get your own agenda and get so busy and forget about the least of these. Between the ages of 18 and 25, we have more young black men in prison than we have in college. And that's not right. We can't stand by and let that happen. We can turn that around. But we must be about the business of taking off these shades of indifference. And I was speaking to a group of lawyers just the other day, as I said, and I said, you know, and all of us are doing great, we're doing fine, but we didn't get to where we are on our own. Well, again, why is it that you give so much of your money and your time to education? Let me tell you something. It wasn't the $100,000 and $1 million that God blessed me to give to Shaw University, but it was that little old lady in the black community that didn't charge me for putting a hem in my pants when I went off to college. See, people cared. And it made a difference. Gave me an opportunity. I didn't have any money, very few clothes, suitcase held together with a rope. But I had the love of the community when they sent me off to college. None of us made it there on our own. You didn't get there because you're so smart. You know, many of us, no sooner than we make it, we have the nerve to think that we got there because of our own superior brain power or intellect, and doubtless to say our old silver-headed grandmothers had more sense on accident than most of us have on purpose. You didn't get the way you are.
All right. All right.
We're all in this together, and we can reclaim our young people. This is not a perfect organization. We're not a perfect people, but we have to be about a perfect mission. And that is, yes, to provide good health care to our people, but we got to focus on our young people because we're losing them, drugs, crime, and all of this. But thank God, as I move across this nation, I see us coming together, and we are making a difference. And I thank you so much for what you all are doing. I know that you have scholarship programs and all of that, and that's fine. We got to be about educating our young boys and girls. And speaking of scholarships, let me just, before I forget this, let me make sure I cover this, because I told Bill Gray, who is president of the United Negro College Fund, that no matter where I am at, that I always plug historically black colleges. Give black colleges a hand. Come on, let's hear it. Stand up for black colleges. And let me say to this group of National Association of Health Services executives, black colleges were there when we had no place to go. Yeah. They were there. And you know, I didn't come here now to advocate racism about where a child should go to school. Because I think a boy or girl should have the right to go to the school of his or her choice. I want to make that clear. So So don't y'all leave here saying, you know, Willie Gary's advocating this and advocating that in the only black school, which, you know, I need you to go to Shaw University, and that's all right. But what I am saying, you know, what I am saying to those who have become so highfalutin and so sophisticated, the black colleges are not good enough for our kids anymore. What I am saying is that if your child can stick it out 4 years at one of our historically black colleges, if they can stay there 4 years, or in like, well, some cases with my boys, 5 years, if they can stay there and stick it out, chances are they've gotten one of the best educations they'll get anywhere today.
All right.
And I'm a living witness to that. I graduated from Shaw University, a black college. NCCU Law School, a black law school. And I have lawyers working for me that graduated from Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. And I sign their paychecks every 2 weeks. So don't tell me black colleges are not good enough. And another thing too, while I'm at it, we're going to have to stop encouraging our young men and women to go off to college, get an education, get an education, get an education, and like I said, no sooner than they get back home as doctors, lawyers, dentists, business people, educators, administrators, executives, or whatever, we have our own people want to question our qualifications. You become president of a company, your own people want to know how you got there. You got there because you earned the right to be there. As I said, we're more than qualified. We just last to be hired and first to be fired, that's all. But we've always been qualified. Frank, speaking of qualifications, and I always like to share this in every speech I give because it was during the late 60s. Now you talking about being qualified. You listen to this. Here it is. Now y'all remember during the late 60s, race relations were not like they are today. Y'all know that. We still have a long way to go, but they were, you know, you had the sit-ins and the marches and Klan were moving around with hoods on their heads in the streets and all those. How many remember those tough times? You know, the trouble, I mean, but now, it's so much better because black people and white people are turning to each other. Let's give ourselves a hand for that. Let's do that. But you talking about turbulent times, those were some tough times. And Frank, here it is now, the late 60s. You know, I've been married for a couple of years, and got me a job, waiting on tables, and I had my little lawn service going and saved enough money to buy me a car. Man, you know how it is when a brother get him a ride, you understand? I wanted to get back to Florida from North Carolina to show off my car. And it was during these tough times, turbulent times. And you know, my wife has always gotten after me by not carrying my driver's license on me. To this day, I don't carry a wallet. Any man in here just won't carry a wallet. I don't know. I may be the only one. But I refuse to carry a wallet. I didn't have driver's license at first on me, you know. But man, I done got my new ride. I'm riding along, you know, we going through Georgia, of all places. Had my son Kenny, my first boy. I got my 8-track tape playing. James Brown singing, Papa got a brand new band. I'm rolling, you understand? And all of a sudden I see this big blue light flashing behind me. And I said, Lord, have mercy. Now y'all know we may forget a whole lot of things, but we don't forget to call on the Lord when we get in trouble. Man, all of a sudden I snatched James Brown out of there and I start singing None But the Righteous. Knew I didn't have driver's license. Didn't have driver's license at first. And I got to listen to Gloria said, I told you so, you understand? And boy, I got out of the car, but you know how brothers, we take it down to the wire, you understand? I'm scratching and patting like I had something. Knew I didn't have a driver's license on. And I saw this tall, big building, snuff dipping state trooper. He had snuff juice dripping down his lip. He said, boy, He looked at it. He looked at that thing. He said, boy, you better have your driver's license on you. Y'all talk about being qualified. Then now he got nasty and wanted to get that ticket anyway. But he wanted me to write it out for him. And I did. But I signed his name on the ticket. On a more serious note, let me move towards closing by saying this. As healthcare executives, providers, lawyers, professionals from all aspects of business, we all have an obligation to our young people. So as you leave this place, I want to challenge you to go out and make a difference in the life of some boy or girl. And if you're doing it, that's fine. Continue to do it. But I want to challenge you to step it up, because our young folk need role models. They need to know. Tell them. They need to hear it. Seeing is believing. You know, when I'm trying lawsuits, our children and our young people. They can do whatever they want to do, but they gotta dream big dreams and never do less than their best. Can never do less. And let me close by saying this. I know that our young people, I know that our young people can do it. We can reclaim them. We can corral them. And I don't care if people talk about the drugs and the marijuana and all of this. We can reclaim our young people. We used to do it. There was a time when I was growing up when everybody used to help raise everybody's child. You got caught rolling down the street. You got put in your place and you went on home and you got it again. Because people cared. And that's what it's all about. So as you leave this place and go back to your respective cities, don't forget about our children. Don't forget about our young people. You're doing a whole lot, do a whole lot more. Because when it's all said and done, the money you have won't matter. The titles you have won't matter. In a real sense, we all gonna share a common denominator. And that's a date of birth and a date of death. And the only thing that's gonna separate the two is a little dash. And you see, that dash represents not so much of what you've done for yourself, but what you've done for the least of these. So let's leave this place and go out and make a difference in the lives of young boys and girls out there who need us. And then, lastly, as you do that, and I know you will, and I know this may sound a little old-fashioned to you, but in all of your endeavors, and no matter what you do in the healthcare business or whatever it is that you do, you keep God in your plans. You keep God in your plans.
Okay, Richard, it's running. So I can't tell you other than they need it. It's not very light up here. It's not very light.
Yeah, lighting's not good at all.
Not good. Not good.
What's the tape? I'll go with it.
It's not good in this.
No.
Is it coming in? Can you see anything?
Is that right?
It's real dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
This ain't gonna get it in this corner.
Man, call him outside.
Where is our photographer?
It's not very good.
I'm looking out there for you. I didn't see you.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen you for a few months. You're still there, right?
Hey, Dr. Carson? Okay. It's recording. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay.
You got more light now, don't you?
Yeah, I got more light.
So you want to really? Yeah. Somebody hold it? You want to hold it?
Yeah.
Oh, you going to hold it for me? Is that right?
And we've already talked with Frank, and we're going to make sure that you guys are involved. All right. Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
We're going to sign for us. Daughter. I have a daughter at FAMU. I have a
At FAMU?
At FAMU.
Okay. But I'm just a 11th grade, so.
Okay, what's up, Frank? Hey,
It's not working.
I know. I want to tell
I don't need it here.
about a very personal relationship
Wow.
of a good friend, of a big brother, and of a mentor who, through the Carson Scholarship Fund, takes his dollars from speaking engagements and provides educational scholarships to all children who attain to go to college. The children themselves elect the Carson Scholarship representative, and that child is a child who's done the best.
And for those of you who don't know, if you do get a hold of my latest book called The Big Picture, there's a story in there about Colleen, which I think you'll find very interesting. I could actually tell that story now, but I won't, because I want you to read the book. But it is a real pleasure being here today amongst people who, like myself, have dedicated themselves to the healthcare profession. You know, medicine has always been the thing that has stimulated me. And as a youngster, I didn't mind the fact that we had to spend a great deal of time in the hospital waiting to be seen because we are medical assistants. And we'd sit there for hours waiting until one of the interns or residents could see us in Detroit's receiving hospital or Boston City Hospital. But I was having a great time listening to the PA system. Dr. Jones to the emergency room, Dr. Johnson to the clinic. And I would just be dreaming that one day they'd be saying, Dr. Carson to the operating room. But of course nowadays we have beepers.
Took care of that, didn't
But you know, it is so important.
And that's Mr. Nat Wesley,
People
Mr. Howard Jessamy,
to have something to which to aspire.
Richard Brown,
And those of us
Wesley,
who are older, I think one of the greatest things
Allison Lee,
is helping them find that dream, to understand that
Mr.
dream,
Percy Allen,
and then how in fact
get me
to
in
accomplish that dream. You know, there's a lot of wonderful careers in healthcare.
Can't see it.
And the thing that I really like about it is, you know, you see this devastated family come in, their kid who's just been diagnosed with some horrible tumor. They can't hear anything you're saying. And then you would get to walk out of that operating room, and you can say, Mrs. Jackson, your son is all right. Turns out he's awake and he's asking for you. And the look of relief that comes over that face. You know, the fact that you have the opportunity to intervene in the thing that is the most important thing.
That's Mr. Willie Gary.
A family, quite a wealthy family, had discovered that their 10-year-old precious daughter had a brain tumor. That very same day, their mansion burned down. Do you think they cared about their mansion? Not at all. It really puts things into perspective pretty quickly when it comes down to the things that really do matter the most. And we have an opportunity to deal with those things. Now, there are bad things in healthcare also. Things like managed care. I'm looking forward to a time when, once again, decisions about healthcare are made by people who understand what they're talking about, and where we don't really have to deal with the dollars and cents of it. And you know, I was speaking at a national convention a few years ago in South Carolina of managed care people. And the reason that was happening is because I was out in Seattle. I was on an elevator. And there was a young woman, and she came up to me and she said, "Are you Dr. Ben Carson?" And she said, "Oh, I love you. I've been following your career. You're just the most wonderful person." And I looked at her little name tag and saw that she was a managed care person. and I said, "Wait a minute now." And I went on, I started explaining, you know, all the horrible things that were going on. And she said, "I wish you could speak to all of us." So that's how I ended up there. But at the end, I told them that they were not bad people. I said, no more so than a lion is a bad animal. I said, you know, lions do what lions do, and business people do what business people do. And if you take business people and you make them responsible for earnings per share and patient care, which one comes in second? I mean, that's a no-brainer. So what we really need to do is figure out ways that people can do what they need to be doing without including all these conflicts of interest in their menu. You know, but the thing that really is very sad is that, as many of you know, over the last few years, the number of people applying to medical school is dwindling. We're down by more than 20% now. And, you know, I don't really see any reversal of that trend coming along as it continues to decline. And in specialty areas like cardiothoracic surgery, which take a very long time, you know, the year before last was the first year that we didn't even have enough people applying to those programs to fill all the slots in the country. It used to be 7 or 8 people applying for each slot. And you stop and you ask yourself, what's happening here? Well, the average debt coming out of medical school now is $120,000. And then you spend several years in training at low pay, and then you come out and find out that you might not get paid. Well, you know, I mean, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure that out. So clearly we have to find some mechanism that creates a situation where people don't mind going through all the sacrifices that they have to go through, including being called at 2 in the morning and missing their kids' birthday parties and all these other things, and then not being paid as well, and then having strange people tell them what they can and cannot do. All of those things are destroying a profession. And I hope that those of of you who can do something about that will take that into consideration and all the things that are going on, because 20 years down the road, when we begin to pay for this, it's not going to be a very pleasant situation. And we're all going to be bemoaning the fact that we destroyed what was a perfectly good profession. But all of that kind of fell apart for me, all of that dream of becoming a doctor, when I was 8 years old. My parents got divorced, and I was devastated. Some of you have probably been through that before, and you know what it's like. And my mother, as you may know, was one of 24 children, and was married at age 13. And they moved from rural Tennessee to Detroit. My father was a factory worker. She discovered he was a bigamist. And I remember telling that story at graduation at the University of Utah. Nobody thought it was that strange. But she thought it was pretty strange that she found an answer. And, we moved in with her older sister and brother-in-law in Boston. Typical tenement